As I sat in the middle of an empty theater with no other audience members on the way, dressed to the nines in an Ash Ketchum cosplay that I'm pretty sure doesn't fit me as well as it used to, I briefly wondered to myself, how the hell did I get here? I'm 25 years old and probably the only person in my entire town that cares about Pokemon enough to brave a lake effect snowstorm just to go see the newest movie. What brought me to this state of absolute infatuation? And then the movie started, and after a few minutes of exploring yet another city filled to the brim with Pokemon culture, I remembered exactly why I was there. If you're new to this channel and don't know me from before ShoPro copyright struck me into oblivion, earlier this year I reviewed every single Pokemon film to discover which ones I thought were the best, culminating in my review of Pokemon I Choose You, my favorite Pokemon film to date. A controversial opinion, I know, much like many of my other opinions from that month, but I've already said all I need to say about that in said review. Today, I instead want to cover one of my new favorite Pokemon films, Pokemon: The Power of Us. I think what's most telling with this film is that it holds nothing back in its pretensions regarding what it's about. Be it the Japanese title Everyone's Story, or the US title The Power of Us, this movie is very blatantly about everyone in its core cast, and it executes this idea to brilliant effect. Balancing 6 different characters is a bold enough feat on its own in a TV series, but to make each of them feel so full of life and mesh perfectly into the story being told in a single movie is on a whole other level. And this aspect had to be this good in order to make its core thematic idea resonate as strongly as it does. Because it's not just about these 6 characters, much like the regular series isn't just about Ash and Pikachu. This is everyone's story, and that is what this movie is trying to get across. Whether you're a passionate champion in love with life and Pokemon, afraid to pursue your passions again after failure, a socially nervous wreck, trying your best to repay a debt, haunted by the traumas of your past, a nobody pretending to be the best, or any one of thousands of possibilities, there is a place for you in the world of Pokemon. Pokemon isn't just Satoshi Tajiri's story, or Takeshi Shudo's, or Hidenori Kusaka's. Pokemon is everyone's story. Our story. And as long as we love Pokemon and love the story we tell, then that's all it takes for it to be worthwhile. This film is so in love with the idea of having your own Pokemon story to tell and goes to every length imaginable to make that possible. Whether it be an exhilarating Pokemon catching race, a tragic backstory, or a desperate attempt to save something that everyone holds dear. There's this idea presented in the movie that they refer to as Pokemon power, where anything is possible with a Pokemon by your side. And it's honestly one of the best analogies for perseverance, friendship, and community effort that I've seen in a long time. Combined with a non-stop wave of emotion in the second half and what is easily the best battle choreography the movies have ever had thanks to the spectacular animators at Wit Studios, this is a truly fantastic Pokemon movie experience. Had I not seen Liz and the Bluebird a few weeks earlier, The Power of Us would have probably been my favorite film from the entire year because it, much like I Choose You, is a pure distillation of what I believe to be the most important aspect of Pokemon. As for what that is, I'm pretty sure you know it already, but just for the hell of it, consider this. Just before the movie began, they ran a brief interview of Kunihiko Yuyama, the chief director of the Pokemon anime franchise. Aside from some fun little trivia like his favorite Pokemon being Lapras, the part of the interview that stuck out to me the most was when they asked him what the core appeal of Pokemon was, and that his answer was almost the exact same answer that I gave at the end of my I Choose You review. The greatest appeal of Pokemon is not the battling or the world building or even the characters and the struggles they go through. The greatest appeal of Pokemon is the Pokemon. Interacting with them, going on adventures with them, learning about them, growing stronger, older, and wiser together with them. That is what Pokemon is all about. The reason that Lapras is Yuyama's favorite Pokemon is because he thought it was just so cool that you could ride around on it at sea in the original games. That is what Pokemon is all about. It may sound extremely obvious and simplistic, but at least according to the people who make it, that is the core appeal of Pokemon. It always has been, and I feel like that needs to be clarified every so often because of how people tend to discuss the franchise nowadays. I know it's tempting to say that Pokemon should grow up with its audience. The desire to have those characters you spent your youth with continue to grow with you and face the same problems you do is incredibly appealing. I get it, I really do. But not all series are meant to do that. If there's one show that I would get on my hands and knees to beg for it to never grow up, it would be Pokemon, because doing so would deprive it of that fundamental element that makes it such an enjoyable franchise. If Pokemon were to grow up and try to tackle more mature subject matters, then in all likelihood, the Pokemon would end up deprived of their agency in the story. It would become a story about a bunch of teenage or adult humans using Pokemon just like how they use any other tool. That childlike wonder that fueled the series for the past 20 years would become just window dressing, with its core being replaced with teenage angst, political strife, and relationship drama. Those things aren't inherently bad in isolation, but do you really want that in your Pokemon anime? Because that's exactly what you'd be getting if Pokemon grew up. In fact, one of the other franchises from your youth finished its growing up stage this year, and it was one of the worst anime experiences I've ever encountered, but we'll get to that one later this week. So you can criticize new Pokemon for being childish or immature or nonsensical all you want, though I do have a half-hour video that proves you wrong, because Pokemon has purposefully been all of those things for years, and I don't have any desire for Pokemon to be anything other than childish. If there's anything we need more of in a world constantly overflowing with grimdark fear and anxiety, it's childish innocence and wonder. That idea that you can empathize with someone from any walk of life through just one common bond is a truly powerful idea that deserves to be heard and repeated over and over and over again. And as long as Pokemon keeps preaching this message, then I'll continue to keep that spark inside me alive over and over and over again. No matter how many generations we have, and no matter how many people don't get it, and no matter how many times ShoPro tries to shut me down, I'll be here shouting my love for Pokemon over and over and over again. Thanks for watching, everyone. We're halfway through 12 Days of Anime, and it's only going to get more interesting from here, so be sure to stick around and subscribe so you can catch up on all the videos I have coming out for the rest of the year. Special thanks to Jan Rogalski, Rorkton Joing, Christine Seibert, Tim Johnson, Call Me Catlord, Diane Wierzbicki, and all my other patrons for their generous support. My name is Ember, and I'll see you next time.